Hello, my name is Scott for SP Gaming, and this is going to be an update video for the month of September. As some of you may know, at the end of August I ended up getting sick. It was a cough cold, and although it only lasted a couple days, I did have a rather persistent cough that prevented me from recording, since I did not want to have to edit out 20 or 30 or 50 different coughs. Even a month later, the persistent cough is still around, so it's something I still have to deal with, and I have to occasionally edit out, but it's not as bad as it was. And so I ended up taking a bit of an extended break, and this meant that it was hard to get back into recording. There was a little bit of a loss of motivation to continue, and as anyone knows, it's easier to keep something in motion rather than trying to get it from a standing stop. Beginning of September, I had recorded Factorial with Harper, some Prison Architect, as well as the Talos Principle. For those who had watched episodes 41 and or 42 of Prison Architect, you may have noticed a lack of enthusiasm, which I felt when I had finished recording those episodes, and I knew if I wasn't excited or motivated to continue doing videos, doing content, that this would come through. It wouldn't be interesting, it wouldn't be exciting, and yeah, so I ended up taking an even longer extended break and actually completely taking a bit of a break from YouTube entirely. And with that said, I did return to posting new content on September 21st with the recorded content of Prison Architect, Factorial, and the Talos Principle. And I mostly wanted to ease back into things, so I hadn't recorded any other series, such as Papers, Please. But I have continued to record Talos Principle, Prison Architect, and Factorial, just to keep things going and get myself back into full production. But beyond that, Sir, You're Being Hunted and her story had officially been concluded prior to the break I took, so it was at least good to get those done, which does open up some space on the schedule once I am up to full production, and I have a few ideas on what games I'd like to play. Anyway, last thing I'll say with regards to the month of September is when we recorded episodes 34 and 35 of the Factorial multiplayer, due to getting a new monitor and replacing out my older one, I had a little bit of technical issues with recording the desktop rather than the game itself. This has been taken care of. I've made sure things are set up properly, and it shouldn't happen again. Anyway, with that said, what's to be expected in the month of October? Well, Prison Architect will be going full version as of October 6th. It includes a new full campaign mode where there's a series of stories. I think there's 5 stories, where you'll have different prisons and different objectives to complete. I will be doing a series based on the story mode. In addition, I will also be continuing the Gang Wars series prison, which is the Alpha 34 to 36 when Prison Architect does go full version. In addition, there is a new game mode in Prison Architect, which is what a lot of people have probably been hoping for, which is called the Escape mode, where instead of managing a Supermax prison, you become a prisoner within the prison, and it is your goal to try to escape. You can build up a reputation, you can spend that reputation on skills, you can use the reputation, I think, to recruit fellow prisoners on your side, so you can actually control a bunch of people like your own gang in a sense. And so that is looking very interesting. It's something that's put a little bit more interest for me to continue doing Prison Architect. I wasn't sure what I was going to do after the Gang Wars prison, but I'm definitely looking forward to the Escape mode rather than continue on and doing more, sandbox building of prisons. The first Escape series will most likely be using my existing Gang Wars prison, the Alpha 34 to 36 prison. But with that said, depending on what happens with the first Escape series, I may do future Escape series, which might be based on prisons found on the Steam Workshop or prisons suggested or submitted by viewers. If you have a prison and you would like to see it featured on this channel, you would like to see me try to break out of it, let me know. Post it on the Steam Workshop, post it down in the comments. Let me know where it can be found and I may check it out and see if I can escape from it. Factorial with Harper will be continuing. We did decide to upgrade to version 12.8, although today we did record, or attempt to record, in 12.9, but a relatively recent bug that popped up with screen and audio flickering, which while it didn't prevent us from recording, it would have not looked very good on screen. Therefore, we did revert back to version 12.8. And so as of episode 36, our Factorial multiplayer series will be in version 12, and that will be coming out on Saturday, October 3rd. Next up is the Talos Principle, and even though it is not a popular series, it really has, single-digit view counts. I have wanted to see it through to the end, and it will be progressing much like it has every second day. Finally, Papers, Please is something I've wanted to return to once my productivity has increased. I need to feel excited when I play the game. There are 4 episodes remaining in the Aristosca playthrough, 15 episodes in total, and I did plan to do a third Papers, Please series where I take the role specifically as an EZIC agent and overthrow the Aristosca government. And because I don't want to do a full playthrough of that, I'll probably run 10 episodes, start on day 11 or 12, all depending on what seems to be the best start. But you can also look forward to that, because that's something I've also wanted to do, which ended up getting delayed due to me getting sick and then everything getting delayed overall. That covers what I have recently done on the channel, currently and before the break. But is there anything else on the schedule? Potentially. The first game I've been thinking about returning to is City Skylines, especially now that the first official DLC expansion of City Skylines has been released last week on the 24th or 25th of September. It is After Dark. I am most likely going to start a new city as opposed to returning to Charleston or Tropical. I want to start fresh with something brand new and build something without having to hack in an existing city. I did a few nights back spend about 5 or 6 hours building or trying to build a map in the map editor, only to have an error message prevent me from being able to save my work. So I am looking for a map to play on for a new City Skylines series. So if you have any suggestions on maps you found on the workshop, let me know down in the comments. I am primarily interested in maps that have a variety of terrain, ideally with decent ship access and interesting terrain features. In addition, I am also considering starting a series of Banished, so let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see me get started on Banished and what I can accomplish in that game. It will most likely be not modded. I may have some small mods here and there, but what I don't want to do is the Colonial Charter mod, as to be quite honest, it overhauls the game quite extensively and it is not really appealing to me. In addition, I've also been thinking about starting a series on Don't Starve. I've had the game for a while, and there's been a few times I've considered putting it on, but I held it back, and I felt now might be a good time to get into Don't Starve. And I also have Don't Starve Together, so if you also have Don't Starve Together, let me know down in the comments. Join the SB Gaming online play group, as I would definitely be interested in also having a separate Don't Starve Together series where I play with anyone who wants to jump into the game, as long as you have a semi-decent microphone. Nothing really expensive, just something that provides a clear communication over Skype or some other voice chat server. I will say though that I do have one copy of Don't Starve Together that I can give away if someone does not have the game and would like to give it a go. The only requirement I would say is that you do participate in the Don't Starve Together that I'd be featuring on the channel. If I am going to give it away to someone, obviously I want them to be participating in the game, so it's not exactly a free giveaway, but of course, once I give it away, I can't really enforce it, so it is what it is. Finally, there is one other game I picked up recently back on the 20th of September. It's called Betrayer. It was originally released back in March of 2014, so it's been about a year and a half. You can get it on Steam for about $10 or $11, and it is a first-person action-adventure shooter-oriented type game. Bows and muskets, set in the 17th century in 1604, New England, the lost colony of Roanoke, Virginia. It has some horror elements, and you have to, of course, discover the mystery of the lost colony. This was a colony that had picked up and disappeared without any trace. The colony was never found, and so that is potentially interesting. Anyway, that's all I want to say for this update video. If you have any comments or suggestions, leave them down below. Other than that, thank you for watching. My name is Scott for SB Gaming, and as always, have a good day.